Now that we have our material's metalness property, along with its color controls set up, time to use a few more MDL nodes in order to create the anisotropic effect that we also want. Although this may sound like it could be hard work, the truth is that we can create a basic working effect here with as few as 6 nodes. The first of which will be an anisotropic conversion node, which essentially takes several float inputs along with a tangent for computational reasons, and then converts them into information that our BSDF node can use to drive a directional roughness effect on a surface. In some empty space then, let's press the spacebar key and search for any nodes containing the word anisotropy. After which, we can click to add the conversion node that we see in the list. If we place our mouse cursor over the node, we will see that we need a roughness float, an anisotropy level float, so how anisotropic our highlight will be, a rotation float so that we can pick an angle of anisotropy, and then finally our tangent. So that we can see the results in real time as we make changes, let's pipe this conversion node into the appropriate input on our BSDF node. Now, thankfully, Designer will automatically add selector nodes for us so that we can easily pick which information is being passed to what input on the BSDF. Let's left click and drag on the output of our conversion node then, and first connect to the roughness U, and then the roughness V inputs. Let's double click the selector for the V input, and then from the drop down, select roughness V, which ensures that we have 2 different roughness values for both the U and V directions, which of course in turn ensures that our BSDF can create the anisotropic effect. Finally, let's drag one last time to the tangent U input and make sure that the selector is passing tangent information to the BSDF node. Now that we have the conversion node that will create the anisotropic effect, we need to add our float nodes so that we can expose them for the texture artist to use. Let's set up our tangent U node firstly, as this is as simple as clicking and dragging on the tangent U input on the conversion node, typing the word tangent, and then selecting the texture tangent U option. Let's set up the overall roughness for our metal before we worry about finalizing the anisotropic controls by making sure that we have nothing selected in the graph, and then pressing the spacebar key, typing the word float, and then adding a float node to our scene. We're going to need 3 of these, so before we make any changes, let's select the new node, then press the Ctrl+C and then Ctrl+V keys twice to create 2 more nodes. Let's right click and expose this node, giving it the name Roughness. And then we can set its value to 0.5, which will make it 50% rough by default. Although the texture artist can of course then adjust this to suit. Roughness values do need to be squared, and so let's click and drag on its output and type the multiply symbol into the search field. Add the multiply operator, and then connect the float to both inputs, which will square our result. After which we can pipe this into the roughness input on our conversion node. If we set this to 0, we now have no roughness and so see shiny metal again, and if we set it to 1, the metal is completely rough, leaving us with no discernible reflections at all. So that we will be able to see the anisotropic effect in just a moment, let's set this to a value of 0.3. To create the anisotropic effect, let's right click and expose the second float node, calling this anisotropic level, and then do the same for the third float node, but this time calling it anisotropic angle. All we need to do then is hook these up to the anisotropy and anisotropy rotation inputs respectively. As we increase the level now, our roughness value increases along just the V-axis, and as we increase the anisotropic angle, we can rotate the effect around. If we go back now and adjust the roughness option, we see everything update accordingly. Now, although a very basic overview of how to use the MDL graph and its tools, we can hopefully see that should we have a need to create custom materials for our renders, Substance Designer, along with the material definition language, can help make it a quick and relatively easy thing to do.